Not yet, right?
Om Shanti. Welcome all of you to the Values for Life series. And again today, before we start, beautiful value of power. Let's invoke the Almighty Authority, who is the source of all power. We'll take a minute in silence and invoke His presence. So welcome all of you once again to the 24th episode of Values for Life series on the very special value of power. And as usual, we have with us Brother Eric, who has actually spoken to us on purity before. And before I go on to the formal inauguration, I would also just want to mention that why was this value of power chosen for this episode today? You know, the auspicious sacred festival of Navaratri, the 9 days where the powers are invoked, all the goddesses who are supposed to have a lot of power are invoked. And followed by that, it's concluded with the day of Dashera, which we'll be celebrating tomorrow with Asha Didi as well, the talk. So what does Dashera signify? It is all about power. So it is the triumph or the victory of good power over evil power. And we have, again, as I always like to mention, that Brahma Kumaris is an organization which is predominated by sisters, but we are fortunate the last 4-5 episodes are being taken over by the brothers. And we really want to get a different perspective as we got on purity. I'm sure all of you had listened to that. So a different perspective on power again from Brother Eric. So with this, I would now request Sister Pooja, this time from India, to formally welcome Brother Eric. Over to you, Pooja sister.
Hello, and greetings everybody from India. Since it's festive season already, like Manoj Bhai said, so I picked some bright colored marigold flowers just for you, Brother Eric. In India, Marigold is symbolic to sacredness and affection. So we all welcome you with all our affection as we look forward listening to your talk on power. I'm sure it's going to be light-hearted. So thank you and Om Shanti. Welcome.
Great. Thank you so much, Sister Pooja, for those marigold flowers. It reminds me of Navratra and also Dashera. Yeah, so I'm sure all of you know Brother Eric very well. And I am catching this little bit of humor from him. It's infectious. All of you should know that. And I also try to introduce him in that way. A formal introduction is he's basically the national coordinator of the Canadian zone of Brahma Kumaris. And he is basically a very TV personality. All his Lokik work before and even now is related to all sort of recordings, production, direction. And he is instrumental for establishing the center of Brahma Kumaris in Montreal. It's, if I'm correctly spelling it, the French, it's Les Emergence. So I'm sure it's correctly spelled. And let me just, as usual, say a few words in the form of a poem. So Brother Eric, with his natural humor, makes the atmosphere so light. And as a person, Brother is indeed very, very royal and quiet. Nevertheless, he exudes all around the divine might. So he's light, exuding might, and also very quiet. When I say quiet, it's something internal quietness. On this spiritual power today, he will throw some light, indeed by churning with his divine insight, that how do we make ourselves more and more bright and set once again all the things upright which may have fallen apart in our life. So he'll throw some light with some insight, make our lives more bright and upright. Then everything in life shall be all right if we brace ourselves, tying the seat belt tight. The darkness of ignorance is then converted into the powerful white light, which indeed shows all of us the path to follow right. And then there shall be no scope left for anyone to fight, right? And finally, a few words on the power, on this mighty virtue or value of power. All of us have within us this divine willpower, which indeed makes us have a golden shower. It makes us realize our true potential and thereby helps us regain our inner credential. So let's today look at our inner credential, the inner work, and try to regain that lost true potential which we all of us have. So with this, I'll just also share the screen so that you all can see the translations. I'll just do it quickly. As you all can see, a lot of languages we have now with us. We are fortunate. A big thanks to all the translators who really work tirelessly to make this see the light of the day. You can see it's English, German, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Hindi, and Telugu as well. And you can please click on whichever language you want to listen to. And with this, I would just again make a few announcements of housekeeping that brother will be speaking for the next 45 to 50 minutes. Please be ready with your questions if you want to hear some very remarkable answers or unique innovative answers on the virtue of power. Please send your questions to me by around 8:55 India time. And then we'll be doing the closing meditation with him as well after the Q&A. So over to you, Brother Eric. Thank you so much. Welcome.
Well, thank you both for this lovely introduction, Pooja and Manoj Bhai. I feel no pressure to to do something brilliant. I don't know if I can. Let's see. And thanks for the flowers. And usually I'm here to welcome special guests in this Canadian kind of based environment. I know we are all over the world, but also there is a deep Canadian connection. So I'm usually welcoming our special speakers. But this time I also brought a beautiful flower for all of you. And the speciality of that flower is that it smells so strong. Really, I think I'm taking all the inspiration of the whole next hour in the flower, power of the fragrance. So to all of you, a beautiful moment and greetings. So I brought it for all of you. And I'd love to start just with a short 30-second connection between us. I know we're in Zoom and this is a virtual environment, but I always believe, and I think we may have done that last time, I can't remember, but I always believe, the power of flower, flower power. That used to be popular in the 60s, by the way. So I always believe that, yes, we can connect electronically with science, but I think we can also connect spiritually with silence, isn't it? And I always feel that instead of talking to a camera or to a Zoom world, I'd rather experiment with the connection of the souls. And if you don't mind, I'd like to invite you to just sit quietly and look at the screen, and I'm going to look at you. So don't be surprised if I show up in your living room, wherever you are. And imagine that this is not just a screen, but as souls, as spiritual beings, as energy, we're connecting with one another on a spiritual level right now. So whoever you are, wherever you are, just imagine that all these points of light connect like a constellation of light in the sky. They talk sometimes about different type of cancellation, like as a constellation, the Cancer, the Virgo. So today we create a special, unique constellation, like a family of lights. And it's not just going to be about sharing words or thoughts or ideas, but it's going to be about connecting with one another. So there is power going through. It's like connecting wires together, allow current to come through. So if we connect spiritually together as souls, eternal souls, souls that know each other, and we've been traveling for a long, long time on this journey. Now we're meeting in different names and different forms in different countries. But really, we're all united. So let's experiment with the next hour, not just with sounds, but with also the power of silence. So, thank you for having me again. It's lovely to join this wonderful group. And I know it's been almost a year in just a few days. So I'm sure you'll be announcing at the end the first anniversary, celebrating soon this Values for Life. And, today I just want to come as a friend of all of you, as a brother. And I know we have amazing seniors in Brahma Kumaris who have been talking about powers. And of course, this special time of celebrations with Navratri is a time when we have so many beautiful sharings on the significance of powers. And yes, powers could be used to destroy negativity within. Power can be used to ignite positivity also within. But I wanted to just come today as a friend, as a spiritual brother, and as just a little companion on the journey, because we're all, I think, moving along on our spiritual life. And I don't know about you, but I know for me, it's a beautiful journey. But sometimes there are little challenges, we can put it that way. They may be called obstacles, they may be called tests, but we have to overcome whatever comes on the journey. And yeah, my understanding is that to overcome anything, we need strength. And the image that came to my mind this morning was, when I go to the markets, there's a beautiful market nearby. And usually I go with the idea that I'm going to just buy a few things. And I always end up buying 3 times the amount I planned. So when I come back, my bags are really, really heavy. And I have to walk back. So walking in was easy. The bag was empty. But walking back with full load of groceries, requires strength in the arms. And I'm thinking maybe one day I won't be able to carry such heavy bags. So I will do like many people. I will have a little cart on wheel. And then I'll have to have it home delivered because I won't even be able to carry this on wheel. And then one day, well, they won't need any more bags because I'll be, somewhere in another form, in another world. So the point is, if I have strength, I can carry weight and bags and be happy. But if I don't have strength, I can't carry anything. So if I can't carry the weight of my life, the weight of my responsibilities, the weight of my relationships, the weight of the challenges, then because I don't have the power to carry it, then I will be called being weak. And being weak will not allow me to carry this, and it will become like a burden. But if I'm strong, a bag full of groceries is not a burden. It's actually a bag full of groceries. And I'm delighted to the perspective of cooking and using those groceries for the future. So it all depends on how much power is there even in the body. So it's a simple image, but I think it just illustrates the scope of what power is all about. And the physical aspect of power, we know it. There are many aspects connected to it. Political power, scientific power, physical power, natural powers, power of nature. A storm has power, but a very quiet lake has power as well, isn't it? So I know it's a very vast topic, but as I said, I wanted to just share on the basis of being a road companion on a journey, on a life journey. And the approach I'd like to propose is, it's based on my own reflection for what I've been going through in the past 30 some years. What kind of powers I've been really using in my spiritual life? What powers do I need? And how do I use them? What trigger a power? Or what cancel a power? You can have power in your electrical outlet. There's power. But if there's a power shortage, could be, a simple little squirrel having his meal on the wire, and instead of eating his nut, he just by mistake ate the wire. So squirrel power, the squirrel will have win over you and you are powerless. And the little squirrel, cut your wire and you are powerless. And the squirrel, well, he might be electrocuted. So I don't know if that's a good thing for him either. He just chewed the electrical line. So what ignites the power, but what also extinguishes the power? We can say we all have different powers, but I think we can also say we all lose our powers from time to time. Physically, we may have the strength, but if tomorrow we catch a virus, if tomorrow we catch a virus or we get a flu or a cold, we're back in bed and say, I don't have the strength to do anything. And what removed our strength was a tiny microscopic, invisible microbe or virus or bacteria or whatever that drained the whole strength of such a big body. I mean, big, yes. It's okay, not too big. So Spiritually speaking, imagine if we have spiritual powers, but the tiny, tiny little weakness suddenly disable that power, we're left powerless. So I was reflecting, and I know we can talk about the famous 8 powers that we often talk about in the philosophy of Raj Yoga. And I'm sure you've heard plenty about those 8 powers, and also even the way they connect with one another, which is beautiful. I always like to start with the power to pack up, so you really collect your thoughts. And this is the first power to apply in your mind, to collect your mind, and then to tolerate, and then to adjust, to discriminate, to judge, to face, to cooperate, and to withdraw. I mean, these are the traditional 8 powers. But instead of going there, I was thinking, from my own personal experience, power is actually just energy. And I like to consider power to be simple. It's just my level of energy. And if my energy is high, if my energy is charged, if there is a lot of energy, there is power. And if there's less energy, there's less power. So then we define what is energy. And energy could be of many kinds. In physical powers, you can create electricity with the wind power. You can create electricity with water, hydraulic, power, hydroelectric. You can create power with the sun, solar power. So there will be energy created through different means. And this will lead me to looking back at my life again, identifying actually 3 powers that I found the powers that have been really driving my life from where I was 30 years ago to where I am today. And I would say that for me, the first power that ignited my spiritual life was the power of faith. And faith is, of course, very different from just understanding. It's when understanding becomes a flame. I hear something, I understand it, I believe it, and it starts burning in myself. I'm sure you all can look at your own mind, brain, intellect, at your heart, and let's think what elements of faith is burning in me. What kind of faith do you have? We talked often in Raj Yoga about faith in the self, faith in God, faith in this beautiful life, the way it's designed, the way it's functioning, to have faith in the perfection of life in its many forms. Do you have faith in others? Do you have faith in my own understanding? So there are many elements that can nurture my inner faith. And to me, faith can generate power, like wind or water or sun. They create power. Faith can create power. And power can be destructive, or it could be constructive. And I think it's nice to be aware that faith, if it's misused, can have a destructive power. But if faith is used, with wisdom, with the right understanding, with accuracy, with values, then faith becomes huge power. To me, faith will give me the power of courage. It will give me the power of realization, the power to move from a simple understanding to a state where not only I understand knowledge or philosophy, but I have the strength, the power to use it in my life. If there isn't faith, I will know it, but I will not do it. And I will not be it. I always felt that, the image that nurtured faith for me was the little bird on the nest, hearing the mom saying, okay, now this is time for you to fly. It's very simple. You see the branch, you just stand on it. You see the empty space there, you just jump. Don't worry, it'll be fine. You'll be flying and you'll enjoy it. And the little bird has never done it. And he has seen the mom doing it. He's seen the mom, flying. But he's holding on the branch and he's looking down and he says, oh my goodness, this is really high. If I fall down there, I'm going to break every bone of mine, and they're very fragile. And the little birds may look at the wings saying, they are way too short. I mean, my mom has big wings. I have tiny, tiny ones. How can I fly? And I've never done it before. So many elements that will not allow the bird to fly, isn't it? When I was a kid, I used to be a little bit silly. And I don't know in India if Mary Poppins is popular. But in the West, we don't know about the 9 goddesses. They don't exist in France at the time. But Mary Poppins was one of the goddesses. We had, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Mary Poppins. These are the 9 goddesses in France and in Europe, in Western world. So we don't know Durga, Kali, Lakshmi, and all of them. They didn't become popular because social media wasn't there before. But now with social media, all the Indian goddesses are very, very well known in the West. This is great. Maybe with social media, Mary Poppins is well known in India. But Mary Poppins had a very unique power. Do you know that? Manoj Bhai, you know Mary Poppins? She used to fly with her umbrella. What an incredible thing to do. So of course, as a kid, I walked on the stairs outside of annex where we used to live. And there was outside stairs. And then there was the border. And then I walked on the edge of stairs and I put my umbrella and I had faith and I jumped and the umbrella didn't make me fly at all. And I fell really badly and I broke the umbrella. And I thought, I don't know why it's working for her and it's not working for me. I really did that. I don't exaggerate. I broke my mom's umbrella and I really hurt my knees. Hopefully I didn't walk up the 10th floor. I think it was just the equivalent of 1 floor. But I wanted to try if I could fly with my umbrella and it didn't work. But that was faith, but a little bit silly. There were some pieces of information missing and it was called blind faith. So on the other side, the little bird, his faith is called actually instinct. And if you've seen those documentaries, they are wonderful. And you see all these little birds that have what we call a leap of faith, literally. And they know they have to let go of the branch and jump in the unknown, and they fly. Or at least they fall nicely on the ground for the first time, and then they will learn to fly. So I'm using these images, but if we all look at our life, are we using the power of faith to jump in the unknown with this faith that I'll be okay and I'll be flying and my umbrella will make me go up and I will not fail? So I was thinking really in my life and I thought, yeah, Raj Yoga for me gave me powerful faith. We have been told for years, have the faith that you are a soul. Have you ever heard that? For those who are less familiar with Raj Yoga, and even for those who have done it for 70 years, I heard one of our senior recently sharing how after so many years, 60 years, she was still intrigued and fascinated with this simple aspect of being focused on that simple thought that I am a soul. And to feel that thought, not with stubborn repetition or blind faith, but with full faith. What does it mean to have full faith that I'm a soul? It's powerful. And it gives power And I was really looking at my life and I thought, why have I continued? Why did I continue to pursue on that spiritual journey? It's because my faith in the self, my faith as a soul, my faith in the philosophy, the knowledge of Raj Yoga, my faith in drama, my faith in God is very strong. I have that faith and I nurture that faith. So what ignites faith is deep understanding, which we acquire in Raj Yoga by studying, reflecting, exchanging, sharing, learning. And then we nurture it afterwards with applying it, trying it in life. If I'm in a meeting and I'm nervous and it's my turn to speak and I'm shaking and I'm sweating because I am shy or I'm not confident, did I try before talking, just thinking, hey, it's no big deal. I'm a soul. I'm a powerful soul. I'm an amazing soul. I'm a soul that God loves very much. I'll be okay. Have you tried that? Simple. I did that. I used to be very, very shy. I'm not shy in front of Zoom. That's okay. But in real life, I'm still sometimes a little bit self-conscious and I have to pay attention. I used to be extremely embarrassed when having to share in the public. I used to be very nervous, having a hard time to swallow. First time I was on the air in the radio, I was fine. And then the moment they told me, Eric, you're live, I was shaking and I couldn't speak properly. I was swallowing all strained and I was so self-conscious. It took me a while to become comfortable, but I remembered I only practiced this simple thing. I'm a soul. I'm a soul. Don't worry. Everything is fine. I'm not Eric. I'm not a journalist. I'm a soul. Faith in the soul. Faith in the cell. So we can talk, for an hour. So fascinating. Faith. The power of faith. And I wish we could have a little tester, like now we take a blood pressure easily, with little tools and you pump your thing and it's, yeah, your blood pressure is good. Imagine we can have a faith tester. And then you can put your little, I don't know, something on your heart. And then the spiritual doctor would say, I don't know, your faith is fluctuating. I think it's, you don't have faith in yourself 100%. I detect 50%. This is dangerous. Imagine your heart working at 50%. You'll be half dead. This is the definition of the heart working 50%. You're half alive, half dead already. Imagine faith only 50%. Then what disables faith is that tiny, tiny, tiny little doubt. How easy it is to have doubt in the self. How many times for me, I remember thinking I'm no good. My seniors are so much better. What can I do? Who am I anyway? I'm not going to make it. I used to talk to God sometime and says, I'm a hopeless case. Go and spend time on somebody else. You're wasting your time. I'm sorry, I'm wasting your time. And, just bet on another horse. In the horse racing, keep saying to God, you pick up the wrong horse, choose another one. I used to have little faith in me when I was younger. And when I used to try to help, the image I had for myself was, I think I'm such a crooked spoon, I'm just this strange spoon instead of being this diamond spoon or golden spoon made in God's heart. And I used to say to God, I'm sorry, I'm feeding this one with such a crooked spoon. I hope I can still give him pudding. And I used to be amazed how God can use a crooked spoon to feed someone. And I was the crooked spoon. But that was a lack of faith in me. And I had to develop faith. And faith made me into a much nicer spoon. Today, I don't think of myself as a crooked spoon. So faith made me a better spoon. Not that I became a better spoon and then I had faith. It was the other way around. Faith gave me power. But doubt kills power, destroys power. And then it becomes the power of doubt. which sometimes we don't realize that, the virus, coronavirus, is extremely powerful. And it makes us very weak, but the virus is very powerful. Our defects, our weaknesses are very powerful. These 9 goddesses, yeah, they can burn Ravan, but hey, before that, who was the winner? Who has been frying on the barbecue of, lack of spirituality? The same goddesses had the little problem, and now they are burning Ravan, but before Ravan was burning everybody. When Ravan goes over, a kingdom, and he used to threaten, hey, do you want to fight or do you want to surrender? Most people would say, oh, we surrender, we surrender, we surrender. You're too almighty. They're afraid of Ravan. So in the same way, I find that weaknesses can be so powerful. They're not weaknesses. They are powerful. And our powerful self becomes so weak if we lose that connection. And that connection comes from faith. So for me, that was the first power that I find that I really use in my life. And the second power that is actually the most essential power, without which Om Shanti Yogi life, I think you can say goodbye to your spiritual life. I think this will be the power of yoga, the power of silence, the power of communion, the power of union between me, the soul, the little tiny mustard seed, with the ocean, with the big divine, the supreme that you invoked in the beginning of the meeting, Manoj Bhai. So yoga power was, of course, it's the heart of Raja Yoga that we learn, all of us. And yoga power is the one that will allow my faith to blossom with all the possibilities and the potential that faith has in its own seat. Faith without yoga power can lead to some kind of fanaticism. I don't know how to say that, fanaticism, kind of fanatical idea. It can lead to stubborn, dogmatic practices, very hard. I have to be pure, I have to be good. You bang our heads, you feel guilty, you harm yourself when you don't succeed. This is because you're applying faith with the force of your 10 nails, and 20 if you use the toes as well, but you use that harmfully, and it's painful. That's because faith hasn't been watered, hasn't been enlightened with the beauty of yoga. And yoga changes faith into achievements, into attainments, into fruition. It's different. If I use faith to move forward, I have power, but I need also the power to just flourish or blossom that energy so it becomes my own practice, my own reality. And I find that without yoga power, I don't know, I'm only using my own personal power. And I can only accomplish so much with my own personal power. But if I connect with the generator, with the supreme, I can do 1,000,000 times more, isn't it? So I think all of us can check, where is my faith? How much has it become power of faith? Where is my yoga? How is my connection? And that yoga starts really with the connection with silence. It's really the art of quieting the mind. That's why I like the first power to be not just the power to withdraw, but mostly the power to pack up. Because it's the power that allows me to hold my mind still for a moment. And it's a big challenge. And it will lead us, you'll see, it will be connected to the third power for me. But I have a beautiful example of that when I love children. I don't have children, but I love children. I think they are wonderful. And they make me feel like a child very quickly. So I'm usually very bad for babysitting because I turn into a child myself and I become very mischievous with them. And we run and we make noise and we throw pillows and we go up and down. And when my sister used to ask me to look after her children, I used to make them so excited. She used to say, "What have you done to them? You're all red, and don't you make them quiet down a little bit?" I say, "Yeah." But I was so excited to be like them, like a child. And one day we were at a friend's place, and he was welcoming us, some of us from the center, with a senior from Africa. You met her, Sister Vedanti and Sister Pratibha. And so we were there, and then we were, enjoying an evening in a spiritual gathering. But there were two little boys, a little bit naughty and a little bit agitated and excited to see so many people. And I was trying to quiet them down. And I was making them twice more excited, I think, or nervous because I was silly myself. And then at some point, one of those two senior went on the couch and asked the younger one, says, "Come here, come." I don't know how he approached and got close to her, what magic she applied, but she just talked so softly to him. And he was so connected. And from this ball of crazy energy that was like this, he just calmed down so quickly. And within a few minutes, the little boy was next to that sister, almost quiet, like a little angel. And she was just whispering to him and saying, "You're nice." And I was looking at it and I felt so humiliated in a way, thinking, how did you do that? I've never been able to do that with a child. And what magic did you use? How she turned that child so quietly, but pure. She didn't tell the child at all, be quiet, not at all. Parents, that's what they say, quiet, quiet, quiet. And the more you yell at the child saying quiet, the less you want to be quiet. She just used the power of silence. And to me, yoga starts with that, to quiet the mind, to tell the mind, hey, come, just see. And then taking the mind into a moment where the mind is silent. And I find that when the mind is silent, it sees the self, which is the most incredible thing to see. Like cats or dogs, when they see themselves in the mirror, they can get scared and ooh, they don't know who is that. If you're in silence and you see the soul, you won't be scared. We'll be fascinated. Imagine living in a strange place without mirrors. Imagine that you haven't seen yourself for ages because there are no mirrors around. Simple little tool, mirror, but very useful. Imagine no mirrors for years. What will happen? After many years, someone shows a mirror. Well, if you didn't comb your hair for 10 years, you'll be scared. But, if you are just normal, you'll be fascinated. Particularly 10 years after last time you saw yourself, you'll see all kind of wrinkles and stuff. You'll be fascinated to look at yourself, isn't it? Imagine a soul that hasn't seen itself for thousands of years. A soul that completely forgot how it looks, what it is. We call it body conscious. It has been so identified with the body. We've been looking at those mirrors every day, seeing the body. We don't see the soul. So silence becomes the mirror, and the first thing we see is the soul. And then we're mesmerized. You're just amazed. Wow, this is so beautiful. This being of light. This is who I am. Power of silence ignites the power of yoga. I cannot connect with God if I'm not aware of who I am. And the magic of yoga is becoming so, I'm saying very simple things, but they are the foundation, isn't it, of our spiritual journey. And seeing the self as a soul allows me to see God as a soul. And when I see God as a soul, the energy starts to connect. If I see God as a poster, or I see God as a no form being or a very unknown being, how can I connect? It's like asking you, can you call this person and you don't have the phone number? How are you going to talk to the person? We need a phone number, isn't it? So seeing the soul and seeing God as a soul is like knowing the code to connect, to create the connection. We call it yoga power, the power of yoga. And that power gives life to the soul. It allows me, if you're connected to internet, you can download so many things, songs, pictures, movies, everything. Once we're connected to God, what can you download from God? Not viruses. He doesn't have any. He's a lucky one. So what are you going to download from God? Only virtues, powers, knowledge, isn't it? So faith for me has been a power. Yoga or silence has been a power. And then I think each one of us can reflect on, once faith and yoga are being ignited, when we're starting to use that energy, how will I, how to say in English, canalize, or how will I direct that energy? What will I do with it? In my case, I realized that for me, it's very, very personal, but the power that really, really drives me in my life has been the power of love, because it's the one that has been nurturing my heart from the beginning. And we say that actually yoga, if you meet God and if you don't fall in love with him, I think you have a problem either with yourself or with the recognition of God, and you're impressed when you shouldn't be, or you're weak and lack of self-esteem as we shouldn't be. But normally when we connect with the Supreme, it's the beginning of an incredible love story. The story that we hear in the scriptures between Ram and Sita. Is it really between two beings going through all this drama in the forest, battling Ravan, the kidnapping and all this story? Or is it not the story of God and the soul losing each other over time in the forest of confusion, in the dreams of Maya, in the illusion of Ravan, in the power of Ravan, and the soul being kidnapped by Ravan? And God, in beautiful ways, will free Sita from the chain of Ravan, allowing us to burn Ravan with the power of the monkey, the power of Hanuman and his friends. We call upon our friends. Yeah, they're all monkeys, but that's okay. A monkey power with a beautiful heart, isn't it? So where is the power of Hanuman? Why he should fly? Is it in his wings? He doesn't have wings. What gives strength to Hanuman? I'm not expert in Indian stories, but I think it's the love he has for Rama, isn't it? So our love, I think, for me anyway, that's my personal fascination, is the power of love. Because I was missing love in its purest form so badly, that when I met God, or when I realized God, when I understood God, when I connected with God, I knew that what God will give me was the love that no human beings can give me. And I needed to restore that pure love in my heart to heal so many painful wounds that were in the heart, all the broken pieces of past relationships, all the lack of faith and self-esteem and confidence and courage that were a result of that broken heart. The despair of losing hope, in humanity, thinking there will never be a solution because I couldn't find love in the world, not true love. Temporary love, yes. Sensual love, yes. Bad love, yes. Poisonous love, plenty, but not pure love. And I knew God could give that to me, but I needed to be patient. It will be a long journey. It will come as a, when you're really sick, they give you those little solution, drop by drop. When you're sick in the hospital, they don't open your mouth and put 3 liters of solution right away saying, here you are safe. No. They connect a little tiny little needle, and drop by drop, they give you life back. This is what, Hanuman brought from the mountain, this life-giving herb. Just a little herb to give life back to the soul. This is what we receive in yoga, drop of love, one at a time, until it becomes an ocean, and it becomes the power of love. And I realize that what will be the leader of my life will be the power of love. With myself, being kind to myself, stopping to be judgmental on myself, harmful to myself, hard on myself, judgmental, like that. And it took me years and years and years and years to finally learn to be really loving with others in a pure form. I've always been kind of kind. I've always been a good boy, I think, quite nice with people. But true, pure love that removes any other feeling, that takes a little while. Has to be coming from a pure heart. And having such love for the world and such love for God and for the self, and it took me a long, long time. But I find I'm not cooked yet. I'm telling you, I'm only sharing all that with you as a friend, as a brother. I'm on the journey. I can fall off any time, and my umbrella may not work, and the Hanuman power will not work, and I'll be back in a cage with other monkeys. So I don't know. But for now, I still feel that the power of love is what gives me inspiration. So I think each one of us would have a specific virtue that can become the main power to, I don't find the right word in English, to canalize, to drain, or to concentrate the flow of energy from faith through yoga into that particular specialty. And each one of us, if we use a specialty with power, it's like the wind in the sail that takes your boat across. We need that wind, and it should be natural and easy. That's why other virtues are nice. I love them all. But which one is natural for each one of us? For me, I think it's love. I love love. And I think love loves me too. So it's a loving story between love and me. But I think love for me is the power that allows the smell from the rose to come out. The beauty comes from yoga, and the strength comes from faith. But the fragrance will come from love. So using the power of love has been a driving force, nurturing hope. I know that if I continue to progress, if I continue to make effort, love will increase. I know that love will allow me to have a compassionate heart, a merciful heart. Love will give me the power to forgive. Love will give me the power to heal. So that's why power of love is for me the third most important power in my spiritual journey. And of course, the three of them are the powers that need to reveal the seed. And in conclusion, I would say that when I think of power, I think of energy. But I don't try to have faith. I don't try to have yoga. I don't try to have love. My only practice after many, many years is just to go back to the essence. And I know it will sound very, very simple again, and hope it's okay, but the very simple thing for me is just to focus on the seed, not the expansion, not that I'm chasing after love. Love will come naturally if I nurture the seed of love. Isn't it? Yoga will be there if I'm focusing on the seed. The whole knowledge, which is endless, they say if you turn all the trees into pencil and the ocean into ink, you will still have not enough to write the whole ocean of knowledge. Ask Ganesh, he couldn't have enough probably of one tooth to write all the knowledge. But it comes from the seed. And I don't need to get lost into the branches. I need to go back to the seed. So my personal source of power at the moment is just the practice, the daily practice, again and again, again and again, again and again, to always go back to the seed. When I wake up in the morning, I just visualize the seed, the sun, the point of light, the supreme soul. And I just see the seed. And just see the seed. And the mind becomes very, very silent. There's nothing, just light and the seed. And I give power to me as a seed, as a soul. And I feel all the strength in that seed. And I find that if we could only listen to the seed speaking, isn't it? Have you ever tried to look at the seed in your hand and talk to the seed and say, hey, who are you? I like mangoes, but I don't chew the mango pit, right? The mango pit is beautiful. And if you look at it's like the right word, the pit or the seed of the mango, it's not that kind of nice, isn't it? But if I look at that little mango seed or pit, however you call it, I see a mango tree. And if I look at the pit of the mango for a long time, I don't want to see one mango tree. I see 1 billion mango trees. And I smell the mango. And I feel the world. I'm in the mango world. I've never tried that. I should try now. But the power of the seed. And if I could focus, we got lost in trying to find God in so many branches and so many fruits and so many thoughts when it's hidden in the seed. And I would define Raj Yoga today as my ability to connect to the seed and to forget everything else, just to see the seed and to tell the seed, this is with you. I want to connect. And you are my world. And I know you contain the universe. And I'll be merging with you as a seed. Do you like that? Very easy diet. Just eat seed. 1 seed a day. This is the most economical diet ever thought of. Just the power of the seed. So I haven't watched time at all, and I have no idea if I'm totally beyond and if you're all there. Still, anyone is there? Yes, hello, Om Shanti. Yeah, people are wonderful. Everybody's sleeping nicely. I'm done. Wake up, I'm done. You can wake up now. Yes, that was, I had great time. I don't know for you, but I was enjoying this moment. So, Manoj Bhai, do we have anything else to add or did we cut off?
Yeah. So fantastic. I mean, I was just lost in listening to the simple things. It is very rightly said that common sense is not so common. So same thing you rightly said, that simple things are not very simple to understand in life. And you very beautifully pointed out those 3 powers, which are also mentioned, I'm sure, in the versions which we listen to, the power of faith, love, and yoga power. So coming to these basics, there are a few questions on the basics which you touched actually. So the first question is, if you say that the seed is the power, it's a powerhouse because the seed bears the entire fruit and the branches. So the seed is very powerful. So how do I nurture this seed to gain the fruit?
Well, my personal understanding of the practice of Raj Yoga, it will be one thought at a time. And meditation is exactly that, is time I'm taking to concentrate on the seed and allow my mind to express the thoughts that are contained in the seed. I know it sounds a little bit abstract, but let's take an example. I'm sitting quietly and I'm thinking, okay, power is in the seed. Let me see a point of light as a soul. And I'm thinking, as an eternal soul, what is my eternal energy that I want to experience? So I would say to myself, the energy of truth, and I'm improvising now. I'm just giving you an example. It's like serving your plant, except of serving your plant the same water every day. Imagine you go to your plant every day and you say to your plant, hey, little plant, daddy has been coming here today, or mommy has been coming. Look what I brought for you. Nice apple juice. I don't know if plants like to change water into apple juice or into orange juice, but a meditation every day is like, what kind of flavor am I going to use in my meditation? So we change every day. So it's not boring. So let's imagine I'm taking that point, seeing the soul, and I'm saying, what is in the seed is eternal truth. It's contained in the seed, unadulterated truth. So I would start to create thoughts on the basis of that simple point, that in the seed, there's truth. So I would create a thought in meditation that, that's true. I want that truth to be in my life. So I would reflect, how can I express truth in my life? What is truth for me in my life? Truthful relationship, a heart, which is truth, truthful heart, feelings that are true. And so I suddenly start to think many, many thoughts are beautiful thoughts, becoming living thoughts that are connected to the seed, and they're giving power to the seed even more. So the seed, gives me power, but I nurture that power with thoughts. So I would say we nurture the seed power through our thoughts by connecting the thoughts with the essence of the seed. So there's truth, there's purity, there's love, of course, there's silence, there's light, many, many different aspects of eternal realities of the soul that we want to connect with. And I find that if I meditate on eternal truth for 20 minutes, half an hour, when my meditation is over and I engage in a conversation with someone, or I go into my emails, or I go to work, that kind of energy, again, energy being power, power being energy, that energy stays with me. And if I engage in a conversation, after half an hour of reflecting on the truth, my words in the conversation, in the meeting, will be different. I would speak differently. I can guarantee you that. I've done that at work so many times. It changes. We feel differently. So this is how I find we nurture the seed and the power of the seed.
Fantastic. So it's all about meditation and taking care of thoughts. Another basic question is, when we start leading a life on virtues and values, our life becomes empowered and powerful. Is that true? So that's the first question, and linked to that is closely that there's a virtue which has a power to it, tolerance and the power to tolerate. So what is the difference between this virtue and power, and are they interlinked?
Very nice. Yeah, very, very interlinked. So actually, I'm not just a good salesperson, so I'm not going to just give you a pitch for becoming a Raj Yogi. But of course, for me, I look at my life again, there's no doubt that by trying, and now I'm saying by trying, because that's what I used to do in the beginning, and then it became more natural. And then I understood how yoga power changed trying into being. But in practicing, let's say, trying being more patient, more loving, more tolerant, more mature, more generous, all these values, they shaped my life differently. And it takes a while, the same gap of time that it takes for a seed to become a fruit. It takes time. So we cannot expect applying a value in my life and seeing my life being so different the next day. No, it will take a little while, but that time in between is beautiful, because if you have done some gardening, before you eat your tomato, you are thrilled when you see the tomato growing, becoming tiny, tiny, and then bigger, and then you're excited. So the whole time in between is not lost, is actually exciting too. Yes, our lives become more interesting, beautiful, but careful. I can only tell you my experience, there are many, many storms. And your tomato has to be protected, because storms of, we call them storms of Maya, storms of weaknesses, storms from the past, storms from other people's personality. Many storms can come in between. So yes, my life will become virtuous, but I have to be expecting some turbulences, some storms. And where I see a difference between a virtue and a power, to me, tolerance, love, all the virtues can become a power. For me, and I may be wrong, that's my understanding, for me, virtues are virtues when they are just useful for me. Love is a virtue when I feel good with love. I'm loving. Oh, I feel good. I'm loving. I'm enjoying it. I'm virtuously loving. And people would say, oh, he's so loving. It's nice. And yeah, he's very loving. So I can put a board. I'm loving. Yay, thank you. Congratulations, you're loving. Nice. But it's just a virtue. You're loving and you love it and you enjoy it. It becomes a power when it transfers into others, and others start to be loving because of you. And if my love makes another person loving, then I'm using the power of love. If I'm funny and I make Manoj funny, this is the power of funny power. I don't know if it's a real power, but this would be considered one at that time. So if I'm tolerant and I'm using the virtue of tolerance, it's great. And I'm protecting myself from many things because I'm tolerant. It's lovely. But we say, use the power of tolerance. So you change the situation, not just yourself, but you affect the situation. You affect other people because of your tolerance. My understanding is that this is when the virtue becomes power. If it affects me alone, it's a beautiful virtue. If it affects people around me, the situations and the course of the future of my life, it has become a power.
Great, fantastic. Another question on faith, the power of faith, which you mentioned. You gave a beautiful corollary that if you look at the rose flower, the foundation is the faith, and the fragrance is the power of love, which is coming through the flower. So someone is asking that when we are in the midst of a crisis, we tend to forget about the power of faith. So at that point of time, what can we say to the self to remind ourselves about having faith in crisis? Yeah.
Okay, well, it's very nice because I don't know if we may have discussed this kind of things before, but for me, it's like the question would be, when I'm really busy in my life and I don't have time to cook, is there something I can eat so I don't miss food? And I would say the power of smoothies. And I know I shared my excitement about smoothies before. And smoothies, it's a magic invention. You don't have time to cook. Anybody knows about smoothies? They're quite great. You just need the smoothie maker, the blender or whatever, and you put crazy things in there. Orange, carrot, kale, honey, avocado, whatever, anything that is in your fridge, you just put it in there and you press power button. 30 seconds. You drink it and you have a whole meal. This is a power of faith. So to me, it's a strange thought, but to me, I need a shortcut to the ocean of knowledge and to the different kind of faith. So faith in myself, faith in God, faith in life, or what we call faith in drama, faith in the way life is organized, faith in time, faith in silence, all kind of faith we can use. I need shortcuts, spiritual smoothies, a little bit of carrot, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I use certain mantras. And my spiritual smoothie was summarized with simple thoughts. And for example, one thought was for me, everything I have to do today is nothing but benevolence. So when I look at my agenda sometimes in Google, I'm a bit scared thinking, I'm tired just looking at the agenda. If I look at what I have to do sometime during one day, I want just to go to bed, to be honest with you, and just put my pillow over it. And it says, I didn't see anything. There's nothing to do. It's fine. I just want to sleep. There's too many things on the agenda. So to change that, I use one thought. There's nothing to do today. I only have to be benevolent. Doesn't matter what is on the agenda. It's simple. Just be benevolent. So that's a shortcut. And if I say I have to be benevolent, to me, this is a shortcut to the faith that will have so many details. And normally you have the power to do it. You know how to do it well. You've done it before. You can do it again. These are the details of faith. But the smoothie, the shortcut, could be, and it still works for me very well, whatever is in the agenda, I only have to be benevolent. Another shortcut for me, which is very nice, is I'm on holiday. I know it sounds very strange, but again, it's my defense mechanism. When things become a little bit heavy, I reignite within me the feeling, the Friday night when you close your computer from work and you say, that's it, I'm going on holiday for 3 weeks. Anyone remembers this strange concept? That was before Zoom and before, before work follows you in your cell phone. Do you all remember? Yeah, I'm on holiday. Take off your pants, put some shorts, t-shirt, take your, in French we say your swimming suit, your toothbrush, and Om Shanti, you're gone on holiday. That's all you need. Do you remember that feeling? It's a feeling. Why can't I reignite that feeling anytime? So I use that feeling sometimes in the morning when I'm a bit funny and I say, I'm on holiday. I declare myself on a holiday just to have the feeling, because what I'm looking for is the faith that as a soul, I'm free. Nothing is a burden. This is just a game. There's nothing important. If I die tomorrow, nothing is important, really. So to me, it was a trigger. I'm on holiday. I really enjoy that feeling. And a third aspect for me was there's nothing I do today which is against my own personal principles. So I'm not doing anything because I should. I'm doing things because these are my personal principles. I'm not trying to follow Brahma Kumaris principles or Raj Yoga principles. I'm following my own inner truth. So these are examples for me of shortcuts in a storm. And if I learn to use those little, how do you call them? Safe, when you're in the water and they throw a little round bubble thing, a safe, something safety, to save you from drowning. That's what I use. These simple thoughts. I'm on holiday, nothing but benevolence. I do nothing except what is on my own principles. I don't feel burdened. And I keep that line of faith clear. Hope it helps. If not, I'll send you smoothie recipes. Safety rings, thank you.
Yeah,
Or
fantastic.
life jacket. It could be a life jacket. That's a good expression too.
Yeah, life jacket. Yeah, next question is about how do we use our power to overcome fear, which leads to anxiety? Fear causing anxiety. How do I tackle that with power? Yeah.
Yeah, my experience is that fear is always connected to a lack of self-esteem. And fear is a manifestation. But the cause of fear is the lack of self-esteem. I don't trust, I don't believe, I don't have faith in myself. And, when I started on this journey, I was told right at the beginning, by very beautiful source of energy, I was told that I was a very courageous soul. And I thought, no way, this is exactly what I'm not. I'm not courageous. But this was given to me with such power, it's another power we can talk about one day, but the power of blessings. It was such a powerful thought that was given to me with such a conviction that I'm a courageous soul, that thought forced me to reconsider who I was. And I started to believe and have faith in me being a courageous soul. And if I believe and have faith that I'm a courageous soul, I just killed fear in many, many different aspects. If you have ants or bugs or something in your house that you want to get rid of, if you go one by one, this is really a long journey. But if you use the proper tools, sometimes just one spray and then everybody will run away. If I'm courageous, there are many aspects in my life that normally will create anxiety that suddenly will not be there anymore, because courage extinguishes, those kind of fears. If I have that faith that I'm a very special soul, and if I have faith, let's say that I'm a very loving soul, then in my relationships, the anxiety will suddenly change into harmonious interactions. I have faith. I know I can tame the lion. They say I don't know, in Eastern, but in Western philosophy, they say you have to embrace the tiger. It's just a paper tiger. It's not true. So my anxiety comes from believing that this is a tiger. But if I have faith in me, that I'm a master, courageous, how to call these people who can tame lions in a circus. When the lion comes, I go, yeah, come. I'm happy to have you come because I know what to do with you. That's I know who I am. I have faith in myself. I know how to tame a lion. I like to tame a lion. Imagine if you know you have the power to look at a snake in the eyes and the snake surrenders to you and starts going up like that and say, hello, Om Shanti. Yes, master. What do you want? Do you see that in the street? They play flutes and then the snake, comes up. Have you tried that spiritually speaking? It has to play the flute of knowledge. And then I have to talk to myself with faith in who I am. And that's what kills all the different forms of fear. So I would say for me, fear is only a manifestation of a lack of self-esteem. And what I have to nurture is knowing who I am. And we're back again to the basics of Raja Yoga.
Great. In the interest of time, I'll just take this last question, which has come from YouTube. Someone watching there is asking that how were you able to refuel yourself with godly power in your own job and responsibility as in charge of Brahma Kumaris of Canada?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, my job was always very, very challenging. And as a joke, I think I mentioned it before, but one day I was assigned to the newsroom, back to the newsroom. I was there a long time ago, got into many different assignments. And one day they gave me one of the most stressful job, which was executive producer for the late news hour show, the 10 o'clock news hour show, which is the main one on television. And kind of a little bit stressful in a way, because you can't make mistakes. It's very challenging, and you're dealing after the whole day. You have to present this 1 hour show, and you work hard all day from 8 in the morning until 11 o'clock at night. It's very it drains your energy. It's very stressful sometimes and negative. And I know I was, challenged, and people told me as a yogi, but wow, this is terrible for you. You like silence, you like quiet. This is going to be all the opposite. And I told them, well, it's actually okay. I want to become a saint. This is a fast track to become a saint. If I can hold on to that high-speed road of transformation, I'll become a saint in 4 years instead of 40 years. And I used to really think that whatever job I had was the best tool to shape my spirituality with the most efficient result possible. So I never saw that there was a conflict between my physical professional duty and my spiritual duty. But I thought they are a mirror of each other. So whatever I go through in my professional journey is only a mean to express my spirituality to the same extent, if you know what I mean. So I never saw that, yeah, it was challenging. There were some days when I was a little bit, to be honest with you, a little bit stressed, but going back to my early morning meditation, that was my only time I could have for myself. Early morning, sitting quietly, connecting, and feeling that the faith again was power, silence was power. And my mantra was always, don't respect people at work, give them love. And it's always been my way to survive challenges in relationships at work. Don't just be professional and respect them, be spiritual and love them. And that made a big, big difference. In short, to respect Manoj's chronometer of time, which he has to. He's a master of time. He's telling time when time is over.
Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, thank you. So we'll just go into the Thanksgiving mode within Canada itself. So it's from Vancouver to Montreal. So can I request Sister Claudia to do the vote of thanks? Over to you. Yeah.
Unmute.
See, this is my very dear friend, lovely eternal sister. We've been knowing each other a long time, and look, you know, she's even more beautiful than this flower. See, this is a living one. This is the living one. I can smell very nice from Vancouver all over the country. I'm on the other end. For those of you who don't know geography of Canada, Vancouver and Montreal is almost as far as Montreal to Paris. So, but spiritually speaking, we are like the two fingers like this. Close, close, isn't it?
Yes. And I could feel many times, like when I'm in need, you are there. It's just like appear from the power of love, like you said. The power of love makes you appear when we are in need. So it's so nice. I have to thank you so much, because you are that, you know, you shows the Canada, two sides of Canada, the English and the French, and makes such a nice, you know, that connection in the English French background and the English together. So that is itself is a power. And so,
and I blend very nicely Hindi as well. I blend Hindi as well very nicely.
Yeah, I know. But when
I know. Hindi is the glue between French and English.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, Hindi is the glue. And so anyhow, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to listen to you, like always, because you don't make anything hard, makes very easy, and we understand so easily what comes from you. So thank you for this moment now. Thank you very much. In the name of everyone.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Sister Claudia. So we move on to Anu sister quickly for the announcements, and then we go on to the meditation with brother. Over to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Manoj, brother. Definitely with lightness, such deep, powerful matters that Eric Bhai always shares. Thank you so much, brother. Next upcoming is just in 12 hours, the spiritual significance of Dasera, which also talks about power. So we will look at that spiritual extension of understanding of power with our senior BK Asha Didi. She will be joining from India. And it is happening Saturday evening, 8:30 p.m. for West Coast, Canada, USA, and for India, 9 a.m. Sunday morning. So please note. And next is October is really our special month because it celebrates the World Values Day. That is on 21st of October. And that is when we started 1 year ago, this beautiful series, the Values for Life series, that added so much values to our lives because all of our, Raj Yoga seniors who are doing Raj Yoga, this practice for decades, they brought that true spiritual essence to make us understand And then we can practice as Brother Eric showed us today. So we started last year. So we are celebrating our first anniversary on 20th of October. It's a working day, please note, Wednesday. And we will have our very senior Mohini Didi, who is the additional administrative head, the regional coordinator for whole American Caribbeans. She will be joining us from New York. We'll have Jayanti Didi, who is again newly our new seniors, who is also the additional administrative head. She is the regional coordinator for UK, Europe, and Middle East. She'll join from UK. And we'll have Brother Ken from Brazil. She is the regional coordinator for South America. And we'll have our very own Brother Eric, national coordinator of Brahma Kumaris of Canada. He will take us through a conversation with all these invaluable seniors. So don't miss it. It will be very, very special. Note our link will be different, omshanti.live/PFL-Zoom. That is Zoom link, and the YouTube omshanti.live/PFL English, and for Hindi it is Hindi. And you will be receiving in the emails, in the WhatsApp, wherever you receive. Also, you can find it on our website. So please mark your key. And the next one, as we always do, after 1 week, we'll have the values workshop. We'll continue the journey with the value of power, with experiential reflective exercises, and an insightful talk and meditation by Sister Manda. She will be joining us from London, UK. It is this time happening on Sunday instead of Saturday. Please note, due to unavoidable circumstances. So Sunday evening, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. India time. That makes 7 to 9 a.m. West Coast, US, Canada. Note. And our next Values for Life series talk is again the special Silver Jubilee episode number 25, for this on this very essential value, another essential value, farsightedness. In Hindi, it's called Durdarshita, and for that we'll have our very esteemed senior brother Brij Mohan Bhaiji. So he is the chief spokesperson and additional secretary general of Brahma Kumaris. Please note, it will be on 30th of October, Saturday, same time, 8 p.m. India time, and morning, 7:30 a.m. West Coast time. And we have the same links and the interpretation. So visit our website. You'll have all the information about these programs, bihasa.in or vancouver.brahmakumaris.ca. Visit our video section as well as YouTube channel to have all the videos of this program. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for your attention. Over to you, Brother Manoj.
Yeah, so without much ado, we'll just go into the meditation mode with Brother Eric now.
So in a very, very simple way, you can just keep your eyes open. If you want, you can close them, but it's good to stay with the eyes open. So you can just feel that we're all connected. It is not just about me being peaceful, but it's about me creating a world of peace. It's about me being connected with other souls in the experience of peace. It is about sharing peace with my eyes. Giving peace filled with so much love through my eyes. Using peace in my words, but they can hear the sound of peace. So peace can be a living energy spreading through my words. And it's all about using the power of peace in my actions. This complete nonviolence. Actions become the expression of righteousness, of elevated awareness. And they will leave an impression on others. My actions become a reference for others to follow the path of peace. Now that we are connecting with one another, the experience of peace, a peace filled with light, a peace filled with love. We generate a beautiful wave of peace. And we offer that wave of peace to the world. Because values are alive. They're living values. The values for our life. But values that allows the life of others to blossom. And each value has power. And collectively, being in the experience of peace, we offer the world the power of peace. We share with the world the light of peace. And in the life of so many, uselessness can turn into peace. And weaknesses turn into powers. And so many can find the strength to remain peaceful, to feel peace, and to share peace with the world. So I'm not just a soul. I'm not just a spiritual being, but I'm truly a peaceful soul. I'm truly a soul that brings peace wherever I am and whenever I share with someone else, through my eyes, my words, and through my each and every action. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much, Brother Eric.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. See you very soon.